So I wanted to make a video to show you how to get into the ROM monitor on an ADB NeXT setup. So you press the alternate, the command key, and tilde. Now what'll normally happen, unless you have it set to verbose mode, in this case I've changed the capacitors to new capacitors on the motherboard, so it tends to lock in the graphics for some reason instead of verbose mode, even though you set it in parameters. So you go command, alternate, and tilde over here, and then it drops you into the ROM monitor. From there you type P for parameters, SD for SCSI disk, you leave that the same. If it's, say you pull the battery, it would say boot EN from Ethernet, so you change that to SCSI disk. DRAM tests, you can set them to yes. I've got this set to no. Power on system test, I leave that to no. If you have it set to yes, sometimes what will happen is you'll power it off and it'll automatically power back up. Sound out test, yes. That way you can test your speaker working. In this case, I don't have a speaker in the sound box, so we're not getting a pop sound. SCSI test, yes. That's a good one to have. Loop until key press, no. Verbose test to yes. And normally what that'll do, if you don't have new caps, it'll go into this mode where you can actually see what's going on behind the graphics. Serial port to console, no. ROM monitor command, yes. Boot from any device, yes. Optical desk drive eject, yes, even though Turbo Cubes didn't have them. Enable parity, checking if parity memory is present. I don't have parity memory, so I'm setting that to no. Then, here, say you wanted to boot from a floppy disk. At the next prompt, you just type in BFD, have your floppy ready, and that'll start the install process. And you have a CD-ROM hooked up, and then it'll kind of go from there. Set your CD-ROM to a SCSI ID higher than the hard drive is set. So in this case, that's all we need to do. And it will continue to boot from here. So you can boot into single user mode by just typing in BSD space -S, and then it'll continue to boot. There you go. So it goes through the whole, and this is kind of nice and verbose because you can see everything that it's doing. Now you can run where it'll stop and say FSCK not done, which is file system check. So there you could type in FSCK space -Y, which runs a file system check, or you can skip over it just by pressing Control and D, and then it'll continue to boot to a next login prompt. So there you go. Hope that helps.